Hello everyone, welcome to our Timeless Oracle reading. And our Oracle card for today belongs to the Dream Reading cards. The card for today is entitled Relationship. Now, it is said here, new partnerships are coming your way. Reassess present relationships and leave behind those who do not support you. Be clear what you are committing to. Well, it would be nice if all the relationships we have are mature and wholesome relationships. But part of our life's journey is sometimes we encounter relationships that lack maturity, relationships that there is no equal giving and take of love, relationships that the loving relationship is not unconditional. Sometimes we find ourselves in a relationship where one party or one person is giving and giving and giving while the other one just keeps on receiving. And so what happens is the person who is giving always feels shortchanged, always feels thirsty in the relationship. So they keep on running after the person who just keeps on receiving. So what happens is it becomes sort of like an unbalanced relationship. So what happens, one person keeps receiving and receiving and just cares for themselves. So it's a quite selfish relationship, while the other one keeps giving and giving, hoping that there will come a time that the other will reciprocate the love, until it comes to a point when the other person gets tired of giving and suddenly withdraws. Now, when this person withdraws, the other person who was used to receiving suddenly realizes that they are no longer receiving the attention that they used to. And so the cycle is reversed, and this time this person starts running after this person who used to be giving but now feels tired. And so what happens is a terrible cycle. It's like being in a washing machine where it's running after each other, going around, and then the cycle being reversed. No, sometimes it happens that way. Some people also find themselves in a relationship where one person wants to make sure that they will have somebody, so they try to balance many relationships or many persons in one time. So what happens is those who are sort of being juggled by one person do not receive the love that they should deserve. And sooner or later, the person also who is juggling the relationship becomes tired because he has to take care of many people at the same time. So what happens is, again, another vicious cycle. And these are just examples of immature relationships, and sometimes it leads to codependence, wherein both persons are dependent on each other in one way or another. Now, these are unhealthy relationships that usually ends to people getting hurt. And oftentimes people get out of such relationships being wounded. But hopefully they learn something from it, and then they would realize that they deserve much more, a loving relationship. And oftentimes some people, after such a relationship, they realize that they need to work on themselves also. And then there is a certain enlightenment, and then they would tell themselves, I need to work on myself so that I won't fall to the same problem again in the near future. So what happens is they start to work on themselves and they start to grow. And when they start to grow, they outgrow the old relationship, and then they would decide, I deserve something better. And so they decide to walk away. When such a time comes, when they realize that they deserve a mature, unconditional kind of love, somehow they learn more about it also, because when a person undergoes a certain crisis in a relationship, they find themselves being alone, and oftentimes in that loneliness they discover a deeper relationship with the divine. And when that relationship starts to develop with the divine, they start to feel the love that the divine gives them. They start to feel unconditional love. And they learn also how it is to give unconditional love. And as they grow, they start to realize that they deserve more than an unhealthy, immature kind of loving. And sooner or later, when they are ready, the right person will come along. Because oftentimes when you mature, your energy, your mature energy, will attract somebody also who is mature. Now, sometimes we have to undergo through the process in a hard way, but we can also avoid it by realizing that the kind of love that we should have should be a love that overflows from our loving relationship with the divine. Now, how can we end up having a relationship that is mature and a relationship that will not hurt us in a certain sense? My advice is to start the relationship first with the divine. You try to develop a deep loving relationship with the divine to allow yourself to discover that you are loved by the divine no matter where you are in your life's journey. That the divine continues to love you despite of your imperfections, in spite of your lack in certain maturity. The divine continues to love you in spite of all those things. And when you realize that, sooner or later, when you feel that you are loved by the divine, you realize that the source of happiness is in you. And that source of happiness is a deepened, loving relationship with the divine. When you discover that you are the source of happiness, you no longer need other people to give you that happiness. You become a cup that is overflowing because your heart, which is symbolized as the cup, is being filled up by that endless love of the divine. And sooner or later, your cup starts to overflow. And because of that overflowing love that you feel from the divine, then you reach out to other people because you want to share the love and the joy that you are experiencing with the loving relationship that you are having with the divine. And so now, you reach out to other people, not because you want the other people to fill up your cup, but you just want them to share in your joy. When you reach out like that, it means that you are not dependent on other people to be happy. You reach out to them because you want them to share in your happiness. And so when that is the kind of energy that you have, then you don't feel affected when people come and go into your life. Because whether they are with you or they are not with you, you will still be happy. Because they are not the source of your happiness. They share in your joy and you are happy when they are with you, but they are not the ones that fill up your cup. Even if they're not around, you're still happy because the source of your happiness is that deep loving relationship with the divine. And when you develop that kind of energy where you allow people to come and go in your life, the more people would like to stay with you. Why? Because they don't feel choked in the relationship. They don't feel threatened in the relationship. They can freely come and go. And then they realize that you are already giving them that unconditional love. When they are with you, you allow them to be who they truly are. And it allows them to grow. And so what happens is, sooner or later, you will also attract people who are of the same energy as you are. And sooner or later, you will have a more fulfilling, mature, loving relationship. So do not be afraid when sometimes people leave your life, or when sometimes you have to leave behind certain people in your life. They were with you because at that moment, you had to learn something together with them. But if they go, you let them go because you know that there is something new that is about to come. And always remind yourself, you deserve more. You deserve more. You deserve a loving relationship. If you feel that you are in a relationship that is not healthy, then you need to remind yourself that you deserve much more than this. So, whether it be as a friend or a romantic relationship or a working relationship, always remember that you deserve the best. And so what happens is you also give the best. Especially when you give the best, you also deserve it to be given back to you. And you shouldn't be too dependent on other people, knowing that they are not the true source of your happiness. And actually, the true source of your happiness is that deep, loving relationship with the divine. Well, let's now go to the handbook that accompanies this card so that we can gain more insights regarding relationships. Set your life on fire. Seek those who fan your flames. Partnerships are being redefined and new relationships formed. Whether it is in friendship, business, or romance, you are being connected with people who are significant for your soul path. Be open as your spirit connects you to those who are associated with moving you along to the next phase of your life. It is not by coincidence that you suddenly find yourself meeting new people or are attracted to certain people. Equally, there will be those who will distance themselves from you and perhaps disappear from your life altogether. Know that they have served their purpose. Some people are meant to be in your life for a short time only. Others, longer. Avoid people who keep you small so that they can feel important. It does not serve you well. Your self-esteem will suffer. Assess the relationship you have with your loved ones, your family, your neighbors, your workmates, and/or your boss. Do you need to put more time and effort into sustaining the relationship, or is it time to move on? If your motive is pure, the universe will grant you the wisdom to make the right choices. Make time to be alone because this will help you know yourself. The most important relationship is the one you have with yourself and with your higher self. For me, the higher self is where we meet the divine. Okay, so the higher self also can symbolize indirectly the divine. Okay, now if you are making any kind of commitment, especially with your beloved, make sure you know what you are committing to and your level of responsibility. You are attracting harmonious partnerships into your life right now. It is an excellent time to invest your time and effort into making relationships work. Well, that's it for now. Thank you for the likes and comments you've given to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. I hope to see you again soon. Until that time, may God continue to bless your ways.